Hello, I'm Tyree Ware of TMT Arts. Thank you for joining us for another interview and another celebration of our Albany Al-Kebalon American Appreciation Month. Today, joining us is Mr. James Denmark.
Happy, happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you, Mr. Denmark. How you doing today, sir?
Just fine, just fine.
All right, Mr. Denmark. During this interview, we'll be going over your history as an artist, and we'll be asking you questions about how it was for you growing up Black in America. And we'll end up by asking you, how do you see the future of Black History Month, and what do you wish to happen for the future of us?
Very good.
Okay. So, Mr. Denmark, why don't you start by telling us where you're from?
I was born in Winter Haven, Florida. That's Central Florida, between Daytona and Tampa. And as a kid, I grew up in a segregated community. The community I grew up in was segregated. My high school was segregated. And I grew up having to do a lot of teaching myself because I didn't have an art teacher or anything like that in my high school. So I formed an art club for the other students, and we took it from there.
Wow, that's spectacular. That's really cool. Dang, I kind of wish I was around. I just don't have an art club. Obviously not for. So how was it growing up in a segregated school system from elementary to high school?
Well, actually, I had great teachers. Most of my teachers had come from universities, Howard University, Tuskegee Institute, that sort of thing.
And so you had very educated teachers.
Yes. From that exposure, for them having to leave the community to go out and get a higher education, what they brought back to us was inspirational, and they encouraged us to be the best that we could be.
So what were some of your biggest trials growing up, becoming an artist?
Actually, as I said earlier, I formed an art club. I used to go to the paint store in the community, and they had a little exhibit area where the non-African American artists would bring their work. And I used to look at their work and so forth and study it. And I always wanted to be as good or better than what I saw. And it encouraged me to really sharpen my skills. And one of my teachers from Tuskegee Institute arranged a bus trip to the Ringling Museum. The Ringling brothers owned the big circus.
Wow.
And they traveled all over the world. And from their profits from the circus, they started a museum in Sarasota, Florida. And that was the beginning of me knowing that I had to be an artist when I grew up, because when I went to that museum and I saw the works of the great artists who had come out of Europe, it was mind-boggling. I mean, I'd never seen anything like that before. And from that trip, my career started, even before I graduated from high school. And being that I had this desire to be an artist, I was called on to make props for the plays and for special occasions and things like that. And many dignitaries visited my school, and I would always put on a show or do the stage or do the props, whatever. And I had a reputation for, tackling the job and doing a good job. And that was it.
Hey, I feel you. That's great. I didn't even know. So you've been a part of the Ringling Brothers, basically, helped them set up. Man, you pretty like your portfolio is pretty expensive. You bring a little bit of everything. Man, that's you just inspire me a lot every time I talk to you. It's just like so much great stories. Me being an artist myself, man, I just hope man, I'm climbing the same things you already achieved. Can you give us a summary from how it was from the start of your book club to the start of your career to where it is now?
Actually, some events that took place under the segregated system enabled me to leave high school and go to college. I was an athlete that played football, and I ran track, and I always did my artwork. So at the 12th grade, the coach from the university visited my high school, and I was selected for a full scholarship to attend college. That paid for all of my college training. And when I got to college, instead of going into athletics and being a coach, I selected to go to the art department and study art while I performed as an athlete to pay my way through college. So it worked out. Twofold situation.
Smart man, played the system. Smart man. So I remember that you used to make wine bottles. When did that get started? Was that like the beginning of your official art career, or was that just a side project that ended up blossoming?
Well, that was just a side attraction that I had, and I can tell you why I used to use those bottles and make things from bottles. Um, After my college career reached its the final destination, the head of the art department selected me as a student to become an instructor in the art department. So I didn't have to leave. I put in 2 years as an instructor. And the reason I put in for the instructorship and took it was that I had to teach every course that a professor who was working on his doctorate degree would leave and go to Pennsylvania or go north because it was still segregation. And they would go north to get the doctor's degree. So if someone in the drawing department had to leave, I had to take over that position and teach it. And then if someone in the ceramics department had to leave, I had to teach that. If someone was in the art appreciation department had to leave, I had to teach that. So I did a whole circle of courses that I had to cram to be able to go in there and teach fellow students. But the interesting thing was that since I was a recent grad, and most of the athletes and young ladies in elementary ed, in secondary ed, they loved coming to my class because I guess they weren't intimidated by me because they already knew me. So I would be there and I would teach them, and the art department blossomed, and we had more students attending the art department than they ever had in the history of the university.
You know, it was because you had the juice. You was the man. Like I mean, shoot, if I had the chance, I'd be coming over there trying to get some advice. Um, the skills, all of that. Like, it is very hard for me to find like some really good art advice now outside of school and everything. I basically got to self-teach myself everything too. So I really value everything you've done, especially when you said you had to take charge of, you basically have to supervise for people who left.
Yeah.
I understand that 100%. So that's a lot of hard work and ambition put to work. Tell me, what does Black History Month mean to you, Mr. Denmark?
Well, early on, since I was in the arts in high school and definitely in college, Black History Month was always a time of focus and a time when I was able to learn things about the achievers in my race that I didn't know ordinarily. And it's been an exciting time for me because even until this day, I currently have a show in a small town where I live, and they've never had a Black History Month show. And this is something that I did from high school all the way through college, all the way through graduate school. And now I'm in this little town in Yemassee, South Carolina, and I have a big show that's currently on for Black History Month, and the people love it.
Dang, all the way in 2021, making new things. Nice. That's a great job, Mr. Denmark. Man, I hope man, we should start taking over a lot of small towns. That's the first time they did one. Shucks. How do you feel like Black History Month has been portrayed from your first time till currently?
I think it's been portrayed in terms of the historical events that have helped Black History Month. We've had notable people to make strides politically, economically, in terms of entertainment and everything. So there's a lot to draw on now to present to the up and coming generations that there are people who have sacrificed and made of themselves exciting personalities that we would never see before. So to me, I welcome it every year simply because when I see people of note like Martin Luther King and Reverend Jesse Jackson and the civil rights leaders that we all know so well, when we have them come back, we have so many people that have made paths for the generations to come to be able to look to and say, this actually happened because this person made this happen.
What would you say is a great progressive move by modern day African Americans today?
I think the fact that we have movements now where people actually demand respect for certain conditions in their life, like Black Lives Matter. And of course, we have to remember the great marches of the civil rights movement when
Right.
people took to the streets and made their demands known, not only in America, but throughout the world. And they paid a price for that. And that price was passed on to generations to come. So I think it's going to even get better now because we have more control of the media and we have more voices to come out. It's just not singing or anything like that. It is real demands because the politics involved include us, and we have people in position in politics to make decisions that really will carry for years to come.
You know, and it's important to have like those big figures, but it's also important to have community figures like yourself. You know, once people get to that level, you know, they kind of leave the community. They're doing so much for us, but
Right.
you know, their absence, and you know, we still need those strong leaders within the community, still like holding us together, pushing us forward.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you for that, sir. What would you like to see more out of our community today?
What I would like to see more of is the fact that the accessibility provided by the people in the community who have talent, who can give something back to the up and coming kids. Like when I visit the high school, particularly like Black History Month now, I'm asked to come and speak to high school students. I'm in a rural area, and many of the kids who have talent don't know they have talent. And when I go out and I talk to them and I said, listen, there are art schools that you can go to advance your career, to polish your skills off. You don't have to settle for where you are because at one point during segregation, I was isolated, but I found my way to the top and I found my way to the people who had talent like me. They made me better because it was competitive. And I had to get in there. And although I was from Florida, and when I arrived in New York, and I met kids from Japan and China and all over the world who were studying at a professional art school, I had to compete with them. And
Right.
because I guess I grew up having to be an athlete and having to be competitive and having to win the race to get recognition, well, I felt that it was like my talent was a race. If you're good, I'm going to be better. And that's my attitude today.
Hey, that's the attitude we all need, man. I like that. What are your hopes for the future of our people and our culture from here on out?
I think there's a great possibility that we are going to make strides that we haven't heard of. I mean, we've done everything when it comes to space, we are there. When it comes to entertainment, we are there. When it comes to religion, churches, and so forth, we have the best. And as a result of all these things coming together, we have a foundation of strength that cannot be denied. And as it appears today, we're being called on to save a nation, to help a nation, and to build roads that everybody can travel. They may not express it, they may not say it, but we're here, and I think that it's an exciting time.
All right, Mr. Denmark, thank you for your time and all the information and knowledge you was giving us throughout this interview. Would you like to give us any final remarks?
Yes. My name is James Denmark, and I'm a fine artist working out of Yemassee, South Carolina. And I've been performing at the fine arts level all my life, since 12 years old until this point. I've had teaching assignments at many colleges and so forth, and now I'm retired and working every day in the arts, and people can Google my name and up pops what I'm all about. So I thank you for this interview. I look forward to doing it, very excited about doing it, and I really appreciate that, and I'm going to continue to carry on. And next month I'll have birthday, I'll be 85 years, and I will still be. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank you too, audience, for watching us and joining us today for another video in our celebration of Ebony Akelkulon American Appreciation Month or Black History Month, whichever you best prefer. This has been Tyree Ware at TMT Arts.
James Denmark.
And thank you again for joining us. We'll be back real soon.